Mr. Champion, sir, what advice will you give to a lady who is in an abusive relationship, but she's comfortable in it?
My name is Moses Mosu. How can one know when to go into a relationship considering his pocket?
I'm Toby. What is the role of spirituality in a relationship?
My name is Silva. In a relationship between a man and a woman, how will the man realize that this relationship will end up in marriage?
Welcome back. A lot of interesting questions from the audience. Please, our guests provide answers to them.
All right. From Champion, seeking an advice to a lady who is in an abusive relationship, but the caveat there is that she's comfortable with it. Number one, for such a relationship that is abusive and you are comfortable, you need deliverance. There is satanic incursion in that affair. There is no relationship that can be abusive and you are still comfortable inside. That includes that you are being battered, you are being humiliated and disgraced, and you are comfortable. Let us get it right. It's not because of your children. That's not correct. And let me quickly say here, the women folks are the greatest blessing God has done for humanity.
I'll say that again.
Yes, the women folk are the greatest blessing God has given to humanity. Most of the things our ladies and our women go through today, I dare say from experience that the men folk cannot cope with 20% of it. Oh. It is only the women who can bear the pain and the brunt from hardship and yet still carrying children up and down. It is only the woman who can go through shame in the quest of looking for what to eat, and she's still smiling. It is only that woman who can carry pure water on her head and do all manner of hawking in order to have a future. I tell you, many of the things our ladies go through, whether correct or not, our men can't go through. So we need to doff our hearts for all the women. Therefore, should we find anyone who is in an abusive relationship and she's comfortable in it, she can't help herself. That's what it means. So relative have to come in. Brothers, sisters, uncle, father, mother. You know when your child or your sister or your relation is being abused. And if they are married, you know you have a limited input. So what you do is take that matter to God for quick solution and deliverance so that our eye can open. No one stays in a river and still be crying that there's soap in his or her eyes. So we need deliverance for that. I hope, Champion, you are okay with that. All right, so we'll go to Moses. I like Moses' question also. The choice you make in a relationship considering your pocket. Now, in a relationship, please, do not look for an ostentatious life. Look for moderation. And you will find that in the cost of your togetherness.
So moderation is divine.
Moderation. Look for a moderate life. Can I quickly say here, so that it will help all our viewers. There is this guy called one of our choice pride in Nigeria that is called Richard Mofe Damajo. And those of us who have read his story knew how that me, Damajo, knew the role that me, Damajo, played in that man's life. And today, Richard is a celebrity, but it was actually me who discovered that young man and also used our wealth in helping Richard to become who Richard is today. So that even when me passed on, it was difficult for Richard to settle for another woman. Yeah. So it is in both ways. In looking for someone to settle for, your pocket has little or nothing to do about it. Because there are some who have big pockets, and yet their mind is just like some people carrying big handset, and their mindset is so low. and that is how it is with some people with big pockets, and their way of thinking is low. So the pocket should not define who to settle down with. What should define it is the moderation. And that is why we started by saying in some instances in relationship, in many instances, lies become the order of the day. You don't have this, you are saying you have it. And so the girl or the boy is coming in on the basis of what you told him or her that you have. And by the time you enter, you discover that all was fallacy, all was a lie. There is no way that relationship can last. For Toby, there is no doubt in the fact that spirituality plays a very significant role in marriage. Because, listen, hey, marriage is a mystery. How can 1 + 1 become 1? It's a mystery. And aside from our Lord, there is no any other union where a woman doesn't have need of a man for conception. There must be the conjugational right between the man and the woman for conception to come in. It's only our Lord that was born without a man interference. So, spirituality is important. How be it, listen to this now. The journey towards marriage is 90% carnal and 10% spiritual. If you look for who to marry with your spirituality, you will miss it. Some of you must have heard stories of whether in Christianity or in Islam, those who have carried righteousness on their head, they went into marriage, the thing didn't last 3 months. Our sister in Abuja, one of the greatest musicians, you had her own case. All right? So the journey towards marriage, that is why God said, it is he who finds. And in finding, there is searching. You don't sit and cross your leg and you are praying and speaking in tongues, and then one wife will just come from nowhere and just appear to you. If a woman appear before you now, while you are praying because you want to be spiritual, as you open your eye, what will you do?
You will run.
If it's possible for you to disappear, then you will. So there is a process that involves finding. And in finding, you must be friendly. You must be friendly. It is in that act you discover someone that your mind clicks together that you take to God and say, Lord, if I don't marry this girl, there will be trouble in heaven because the kingdom of heaven suffers violence. You find that person, it meets in your spirit man, you now take it to God. Because God attempted it one time, gave man the woman, and when they both messed up, rather than for the man to own up, the man shift blame
on the woman.
To the woman. And then God said, never again will I carry woman for you. You have to go and look for the woman yourself. So anyone you say you bring to me, I will bless. And that is where the importance of church blessing comes in, or the Islamic blessing comes in. But let me quickly say this. The most important thing in the journey into marriage, what qualifies you in marriage is your traditional marriage, where you pay dowry.
Yes.
The court,
If you don't pay that, no marriage.
The court is for the legality of the union, which is important for documentation. You want to travel, they say part of your document is that. The certificate will give you in church is just to hang in your kitchen. It carries you nowhere. So you better know that today. So the most important thing in that journey of spirituality, to know who to marry, you must go and find that person and bring the person to God. However, said, the lady also have their role to play. You have a man that you see and you know, it's just like if I've seen Moses now, young handsome man, I think I like the guy. And then I'm waiting, I'm saying to God, please go and talk to Moses to come and talk to me. Wait there, 100 years will catch up with you. For a young girl, therefore, who have seen that, I think Moses has all the quality I have. One of the things you do is that you play your card well, but the bed undefiled. You are to create a euphoria where Moses also will begin to look at your side. You gather like this now. Everybody is going. You carry Byron and say, Moses, I buy this one for you. Out of everybody, yes, I'm the only one you bought it for. All right? You do things like that caught his attention. It will not be too long. He will start looking at your direction. And before you know, something will happen.
You know, okay.
This is VVView.